When we think about building a house, there's this universal expectation of absolute precision.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Like, you look at an architectural blueprint, and it's just exact. You draw a solid, bold line, and well, that's a load-bearing wall. You sketch a square, that's a window.
Right.
The entire concept is rigid, and it's supposed to be.
It's a fixed reality. You follow the schematic step by step, and the structure just materializes exactly as intended.
Yeah.
We crave that kind of predictability.
Oh, absolutely.
Because it gives us this illusion of total control over our environment.
But then you look at how we actually map out our lives, our grand life goals. And suddenly that beautiful blueprint looks like it was drawn in a puddle of water.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it.
The ink is bleeding everywhere, the walls are just shifting in real time, and what you thought was a secure window turns out to be a trapdoor you never even saw coming.
Wow, yeah, that is exactly how it feels.
Right, so today we are doing a deep dive into this fascinating documented conversation between two individuals, Lena and Jazz. And they realized their life blueprints were entirely fluid.
Completely.
So we're dissecting their chat to unpack this deeply universal experience of setting, chasing, and eventually completely redefining what a life goal actually is.
And eavesdropping on a candid, honest conversation between friends about their evolving dreams, it offers this fascinating mirror for you, the listener, to really re-examine your own path.
Yeah, because navigating modern adulthood often just feels like wandering without a compass.
Totally. The sheer volume of choices, coupled with that intense pressure to succeed instantly, it's staggering. Goals are essentially the mechanism that keeps apathy at bay. They provide that forward momentum we need to keep functioning when the blueprint blurs.
Exactly. So our mission today is to distill Lena and Jass's lived experiences into actual actionable insights. We are exploring the underlying psychology of how our dreams evolve from childhood to adulthood.
And the modern digital pressures that, frankly, actively try to derail that evolution.
Yes, and we'll get into the specific, tangible tools we all require to stay the course when things get really difficult.
Well, to understand the trajectory of where our ambitions end up, we first have to analyze their origin point.
Right.
For most of us, that means investigating the psychology of childhood dreams.
And in their conversation, Lena shares this incredibly relatable memory. When she was little, her ultimate dream was to become a singer.
Oh, a classic.
Right. She describes standing in front of the mirror, putting on this full performance, just entirely lost in the fantasy. But she also notes a really crucial detail about how her family reacted to this ambition.
Oh, interesting. How did they react?
Well, sometimes they supported her, but other times they literally just laughed at her.
Ouch. Yeah, that reaction from the family perfectly highlights the extreme vulnerability of our earliest goals.
Yeah.
Because when we're young, our dreams are entirely external and performative. We want an audience. We want to be seen.
Look at me. Look at me.
Exactly. But because our sense of self is still developing, we put these incredibly fragile fantasies out into the world, subjecting them immediately to external feedback.
And a laugh from a family member isn't just a bruised ego.
No, not at all. It's a child's first realization that external validation is a highly volatile currency.
Wow, yeah. And we look at Jazz. His childhood dream was the absolute classic, too. He wanted to be a professional football player.
Of course.
But that dream was eventually sidelined. As he explains it, life just changed. The demands of studying became a priority, and eventually, the heavy responsibilities of adult work just took over.
Reality stepped onto the field.
Exactly. Reality stepped onto the field and effectively ended the game.
And this represents that universal transition from childhood passion to adult pragmatism. But the critical part to examine is the nature of what they were chasing.
Right, like being a singer or a football player.
Right. Those are external titles. They rely entirely on other people's approval, an audience's applause, a coach's selection. They are dependent on systems totally outside the individual's control.
Which makes their shift in adulthood so fascinating. Because as they grew up, those goals didn't just change, they fundamentally transformed in their basic nature.
Yeah, they really did.
Today, Jazz says he isn't looking for a stadium of cheering fans at all. His biggest goal is simply a peaceful, successful life.
A peaceful life.
Yeah. He is focused on achieving financial stability, and interestingly, he specifically wants to improve his communication skills.
Look at the contrast there.
Yeah.
The shift is profound.
And Lena's goals underwent a similar metamorphosis. She now strives for confidence, independence, and the ability to travel. but not as a touring pop star.
Right, not doing stadium tours.
No, specifically to learn quietly about different people, cultures, and ways of living. Okay, let's unpack this because I have an analogy for what is happening here.
Oh, I love your analogies. Let's hear it.
Childhood dreams feel like this oversized, flashy coat we try on for fun. You know, we walk around the house in it pretending to be a giant, imagining this grand, highly visible identity.
Yeah, exactly. Playing dress up.
Right. But adult goals, the peace, the improved communication, the quiet independence, those are the thermal, custom-tailored clothes we actually wear to survive the freezing elements of real life.
That is so true.
So my question to you is, does the reality of life changing, like Jas putting away the football to focus on his studies, does that mean he abandoned his dream? Like, did reality just crush him? Or is this a natural, healthy evolution?
If we connect this to the bigger picture, we have to completely redefine our cultural concept of failure to answer that.
Okay.
Life not going as planned, which Jess explicitly acknowledges, isn't a failure. It's not a capitulation to reality. It is a necessary psychological adaptation.
A necessary adaptation.
Exactly. When you look closely at what Jas and Lena are seeking now as adults, peace, communication, independence, confidence, you notice these are internal foundational traits. They are not external titles.
They traded the applause for peace.
Because an external title is inherently fragile. I mean, if you build your entire identity and life goal around being a football player, and you, say, tear a ligament at age 20...
Right, your career is over.
Your entire life loses its direction, you're left with nothing. But if your goal is internal, like improving how you communicate with others or achieving a baseline of financial stability, that is a resilient architecture you can work on no matter what life throws at you.
Wow, yeah.
Joss didn't abandon his drive. He matured. He redirected his energy from chasing a fragile external title to building a sustainable internal foundation that literally no one can take away from him.
That reframing really changes everything. We move from these loud, highly visible, performative dreams to quiet, internal structural goals.
Right.
But building that internal architecture is nearly impossible when we are constantly bombarded by external noise. Which brings us to a massive modern obstacle that Lena and Jas spend a lot of time identifying in their chat.
Oh, yes. Even when our goals become incredibly practical, like simply desiring a peaceful mindset and enough money to pay the bills, the modern environment we operate in actively clouds that path with severe anxieties.
Yeah, Lena and Jas discuss this shared, intense fear of the future. They specifically highlight the immense, crushing pressure felt by young people navigating adulthood today.
It's everywhere.
And the trigger they point to for this anxiety is comparing oneself to others online, social media. Lena points out that these platforms make people feel incredibly stressed because everyone else looks flawlessly successful.
It basically functions as a global distortion machine.
Yes. And their counter-narrative to this stress is super practical. They remind each other that everyone has their own unique journey, true success takes a long time, and small progress is still progress.
Which is great advice.
It is, but I have a major pushback I want to throw at you.
Okay, hit me.
We all logically know social media isn't real life. We know the photos are filtered, we know the experiences are curated, and we know people only post their highlight reels. Our rational brains fully understand this. Yet it still paralyzes us.
Yeah, really does.
It still causes that exact fear of the future Lena mentions. It feels like you are running this grueling marathon, putting in the agonizing work step by step, but you are forced to wear a virtual reality headset that shows all your competitors just magically teleporting to the finish line without breaking a sweat.
Oh, that's a brilliant way to describe it.
And you logically know they didn't really teleport, but watching it still makes your brain feel like you are failing. So why does our logical brain lose so badly to our emotional brain here?
What's fascinating here is that the answer lies in the psychological friction between the nature of our adult goals and the specific visual demands of social media.
Okay, tell me more.
Remember how we just established that mature goals, like Jas's desire for peace and Lena's pursuit of inner confidence, are quiet, internal traits?
Yeah, they are completely invisible.
Exactly the problem. You cannot photograph peace of mind. You cannot put a trending audio track over incremental financial stability or improved emotional regulation.
You're right. No one posts a selfie of their emotional regulation.
Right. But our human brains, they evolved in small tribes where status and survival were based on visible external cues. If someone in the tribe had more food or better shelter, you could see it.
Right.
And it meant you were falling behind in the survival hierarchy. Social media just completely hacks that primitive visual circuitry. It demands loud, visual, external proof of success, luxury cars, exotic vacations, prestigious job titles.
So the quiet progress just doesn't register on our brain's primitive scoreboard.
Exactly. When you are quietly, painstakingly doing the invisible work of building your internal foundation, and your digital feed is just screaming at you with highly visible external triumphs, your brain's threat detection system panics. It interprets the invisible nature of your progress as a lack of progress. It feels like starvation amidst a visual feast. Social media creates a totally false timeline, implying that success is a sudden, photogenic event rather than a messy, invisible process.
Which makes Jass's realization that small progress is still progress so vital. It's the realization that you aren't actually running a race against those teleporting avatars on the screen.
No, you're not.
You are walking your own path on a timeline that literally cannot be visually measured by anyone else.
And taking that a step further, it requires understanding that the people who look like they teleported to the finish line online are very often masking a profound lack of internal peace.
Oh, for sure.
They might have acquired the external title or the shiny object, but they completely lack the internal resilience and communication skills that Jass is working so hard to build in the real world.
But knowing this logically still isn't quite enough to stop the anxiety, is it?
Usually not.
If fear and these unfair, illusionary digital comparisons are the roadblocks, what is the actual mechanism for pushing past them? Because, it is incredibly easy to just say, stop comparing yourself to others.
Right, everyone says that.
But it's a completely different thing. Can actually do it when you are lying in bed, staring at the ceiling, absolutely terrified about your future.
Exactly. We have to move from diagnosis to actionable solutions. And Lena and Jass connect the anxieties they feel directly to two major practical antidotes.
Okay.
Deliberate community building and a radical shift in how we conceptualize microsteps and failure.
Okay, let's break down the community aspect first. They talk extensively about the immense power of a real friend.
A real friend, yes.
And they are very careful not to just mean someone you casually hang out with on the weekends. They define a real friend as a critical piece of infrastructure for motivation.
Infrastructure, I like that.
Yeah, they describe someone who actively supports your evolving dreams, encourages you during the darkest times, and, according to Lena, positive friends can actually change your fundamental mindset.
Changing an adult's mindset is an incredibly difficult psychological feat. It requires constant reinforcement.
And they pair that required reinforcement with the power of small goals. They give these great, really grounded examples of what progress actually looks like.
Like what?
Things like learning English, saving a little money each month, focusing on getting physically healthy, starting a tiny side business. They argue adamantly that these seemingly insignificant small steps are the only things that actually lead to big, sustainable success.
Well, the micro steps are the bricks of the internal foundation.
Yes, and their ultimate advice to the listener reading their conversation. Don't worry if your life isn't perfectly curated right now. Keep learning new skills, aggressively believe in yourself, and critically, do not be afraid of failure.
Because failure is a teacher.
Exactly, because failure is the only thing that actually teaches you the lessons you need.
The wisdom packed into those simple statements is profound, especially when viewed through the lens of modern anxiety.
But here's where it gets really interesting. I want to challenge this concept of friendship a bit.
Okay.
Is a positive mindset really enough? We often hear this cliche that a good friend is a safety net that catches you when you fall, stopping you from hitting the concrete.
Right, the classic safety net.
But a net implies you still fell off the tightrope.
Yeah.
I wonder if the true value of the kind of friend Jass says is so important to choose wisely is actually something much more structural.
Sure.
What if a good friend isn't a safety net, but rather psychological scaffolding?
This raises an important question. Think about how scaffolding functions in actual construction.
Okay.
You don't build the 10th floor of a building while standing on the ground. Scaffolding is a temporary structure on the outside that allows you to operate at dizzying heights that would otherwise be absolutely terrifying and dangerous.
Right.
It disperses the load-bearing weight of the workers and the materials.
Oh, wow. So a friend disperses the load-bearing weight of our anxiety.
Exactly. This completely redefines the relationship between taking risks and having support. In modern culture, we often fetishize independence, which, ironically, is one of Lena's primary goals.
Yeah, doing things entirely alone, in a vacuum.
Right. We think being a self-made adult means never needing anyone. But psychologically speaking, true healthy independence actually requires a remarkably secure base.
Wait, really? So to be truly independent, you have to actively rely on other people. That sounds like a total contradiction.
It sounds like one, but developmentally, it is a fact. If you have no psychological scaffolding, no secure base of friends who understand your internal goals, then every single small step you try to take feels like a macro-level life or death risk.
I see.
If you try to start a small business or even just attempt to learn a new language and you have no support system, the fear of failure becomes entirely paralyzing. The perceived cost of getting it wrong is total devastation.
You literally cannot afford to fail, so you simply don't try. You just stay paralyzed on the ground floor.
But when you actively and deliberately choose good friends, as Jas strongly advises, you are erecting that psychological scaffolding around your life. And once that structure is firmly in place, the entire concept of failure changes.
It doesn't fetal anymore.
No. It becomes exactly what Lena says it is, a teacher.
Because the scaffolding allows you to survive the attempt. It holds you up while you examine what went wrong, make adjustments, and try again.
Exactly. You suddenly become brave enough to take those micro steps, saving a little money, practicing a new skill, because your chosen community provides the psychological safety required to get it wrong a few times.
Right.
These positive friends don't just act as cheerleaders who cheer you up when you're sad. They literally alter your brain's risk assessment algorithms. They help transition your mindset from believing failure is the end of my story to understanding that failure is just valuable data.
Failure is data. I love that framing. And it ties this entire journey perfectly together.
It does.
You cannot possibly take those small, vulnerable steps toward your adult goals if you are paralyzed by the fear of looking silly or falling behind the flawless avatars on social media.
No, you can't.
But if your friends are there, acting as scaffolding, validating your quiet, invisible internal progress, the loud visual noise of the internet simply loses its power over you.
You effectively insulate yourself against the pressure cooker of modern expectations.
Which brings us to the culmination of what Lena and Jas have laid out for us. We've traced the entire developmental arc of human ambition.
Yeah, we have.
We start with these grand, highly visible, externally validated childhood dreams. Seeing in the mirror, playing in the massive stadium. Then reality inevitably hits. Life changes. And we are forced to evolve.
We adapt.
We begin seeking these vital, practical, internal foundations. Emotional stability, peace of mind, better communication, true independence.
We trade the flashy, oversized coat for the thermal layers that actually keep us warm.
But just as we start building that internal foundation, we crash headfirst into the crippling visual illusion of social media perfection, where everyone else's highlight reel makes our invisible progress feel like total stagnation.
Yeah, it's a huge hurdle.
And ultimately, we learn from this conversation that the only practical way to survive that digital anxiety is through the deliberate construction of community. Positive friends act as our scaffolding, dispersing our fears, altering our risk assessment, and allowing us to take small, fearless steps so we can finally embrace the data hidden inside our failures.
It is a remarkably profound roadmap for navigating the chaos of modern adulthood. And honestly, it was entirely hidden inside a seemingly simple, everyday conversation between two friends.
Lena and Jas actually end their conversation by turning the focus away from their own lives and directing it straight toward the people listening to them.
I love that they did that.
Me too. And we want to do the exact same thing for you right now. We want to pose the exact reflective questions brought up in the source material, because these are the questions that move this entire discussion from abstract theory into daily practice.
So important.
So, what does this all mean? Well, for you listening right now, what is your biggest life goal today? Not the performative, oversized coat you wore as a child, but the internal foundation you are actively building right now.
Think about that.
Second, who motivates you the most in life? Who makes up your psychological scaffolding? And third, what is one small, seemingly insignificant step you can take today for your future? Not a giant leap, just one micro step.
And as you consider your answers to those questions, chew on this implication. If failure is genuinely just a mechanism for gathering data, as Lena suggests, and if invisible small progress is still entirely valid progress, as Jas reminds us, what if our cultural definition of a life goal is fundamentally flawed? What if the ultimate goal isn't a final destination at all? What if success isn't arriving at some finished, static state of perfect peace or total financial invulnerability? What if the goal of life is simply the daily act of continually taking that one small, courageous step forward alongside the people who fiercely believe in you?
Think back to that rigid architectural blueprint we discussed at the very beginning of our time together. If the blueprint of your life is fluid, if the ink is constantly running and the walls are always shifting, maybe the goal isn't to stubbornly try and build a rigid house in the rain.
Yeah.
Maybe the goal is just to learn how to swim. Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive. We invite you to keep questioning the narratives around you, keep building your internal foundation, and keep moving forward one small step at a time. Until next time.